Okay, so I'm going to introduce our first TED Talk speaker, Mr. Chuck Lacy. Let me tell you a little bit about Chuck. Chuck Lacy is founder and president of Bard Rock Fund. He is currently doing a really cool project, revitalizing downtown Chester, Pennsylvania by developing an arts district. He also serves as co-founder and chairman of Hardwick Beef. His other ventures include Taza Amarilla, Indigenous Designs, which is organic clothing from co-ops in Peru and Ecuador, Gayaki Yerba Mate, which is mate from Brazil and Paraguay. Previously, Chuck was producer of The War Tapes, winner of the Tribeca Film Festival, and president of Ben & Jerry's, as the company grew from a regional to a national brand. Chuck earned his BA in biology and history from Amherst College, close by. Chuck?
I assume you're out there. I can't see you. Thank you. I got my start in manufacturing. I was in 7th grade, and I was in my mother's garage making ice fishing lures. And I took hunks of lead and put them in a pot, and put the pot on a Coleman camping stove. Turned on the gas, lit the flame, melted the lead, and poured it into molds that I had created, I carved out of balsa wood. And that's back when lead was a good metal. I mean, it was great. I had my father's welding mask on, so when I poured it in, I'd go like that and bring this little kid with this big mask coming down, pouring the lead into this mold, and stuck the hooks in. And then after the lead cooled off, I tied feathers on the hooks and had a ice fishing jig. And I took it out and I caught fish, and it's extremely exciting. And I sold some to Mr. Hayden across the street, and I sold some to Mr. Holman, who was on my paper route. And then I decided to go big. I noticed in the back of Field and Stream and Outdoor Life, there were little classified ads. It was 35 cents a word. And I said, well, I'll advertise and see what happens. And I worked on my ad copy. This is a 7th grader, but it was Lacy's Miracle Ice Jigs. Guaranteed panfish killers. 3 for $1. 35 cents a word, totaled it up, sent it off. I got the confirmations back, addressed to Mr. Lacy, which I was very impressed with that. And the ads ran, and I sold jigs. It was just amazing. I thought I was going to get rich, and I realized that it was ice fishing jigs was actually a seasonal business. And things tailed off for a while. And, I did okay. I didn't do as well as Steve Jobs in his mother's garage with Apple computer, but I was pleased. And I got a taste for the idea of creating something out of nothing and using business as a way to, express myself. And I want to encourage you to think about business as a way to express your values, and also to talk about why I think that liberal arts is a really good preparation for going into business. I went to liberal arts school way back when. I majored in, I was interested in history and biology. And I took a couple courses in each, and I decided they were really the same subject. And I tried to convince my professors of that. I talked about how you really needed to understand soil fertility and something about biology if you wanted to understand colonialism and the movement of people and power and wealth and poverty. And you had to understand a little bit about history if you wanted to approach bioethics or even environmental studies in kind of a reasonable way. And my professors were not as cool as the professors here, and they insisted that they were actually two different subjects. And so I had to play by their rules. And I did ultimately get a degree. It wasn't in 4 years. But fortunately, I finally got a degree on a clerical error in the registrar's office. But I did get out with a degree, and I've been quite stubborn ever since. That history and biology are really the same subjects. But I've been interested in this idea of kind of two subjects and combining them. And as I've been in business through these years, what I see is that the innovators are often the people who recognize ahead of everybody else that two things that everybody else thinks are just completely unrelated actually belong together. And once the innovator puts them together, it becomes intuitively obvious to everybody that that's the way it always should have been. When you were in high school, those of you not in the first 3 rows, smartphones, GPS, and taxis were 3 completely different subjects. And it wasn't until someone really kind of looked at all 3 and saw how they fit together that Uber and Lyft were created, and now it's really kind of it's intuitively obvious. It's, of course, no smartphones and taxis go together. What's also interesting is that you can combine your values with business in a way that the Uber guy didn't really. And one of my favorite current examples right now is Suncom and Solar here in Vermont. 2 friends of mine who were community activists and lobbyists for renewable energy, is generally raising hell for most of their lives. And then figured out how to take community organizing, which they were very good at, and solar, which, because they had a liberal arts education, they could figure out pretty quickly. They put community organizing and solar together to create Suncom, and really a different and unique way of marketing solar. And now, a short time later, they're by a good margin the largest solar company in Vermont. And I hope you look them up. When I joined Ben & Jerry's 30 years ago, Ronald Reagan was president, and the president of the United States and the head of the Soviet Union were threatening each other. We were increasing the defense budget and decreasing the budget for everything that seemed a little more important to us. And Ben, who has been my mentor, and still is, really came up with the idea of merging community activism and ice cream. 2 things that now seem like they go together, but at the time looked really, really different, and merged them. And it was a lot of fun. It was Ben & Jerry's and Jerry Garcia against Haagen-Dazs and Ronald Reagan. And that was the positioning. And we did some amazing stuff. We built an ice cream factory in the Soviet Union in the middle of the Cold War with the idea of creating people-to-people exchanges between our company and also citizens as a way to start breaking down barriers. This was before the internet. I mean, it was really it was a new and different thing for citizens in the United States to talk to ordinary people in the Soviet Union as a peace effort. And as we pursued these things, combining our values with, really good ice cream, our customers supported us, and that combination really propelled the company forward. So the more we expressed our values, the more customers supported us, and the more we were able to take risks to grow the business. I will say one combination that happened at Ben & Jerry's that wasn't particularly values related was the college kids working at the Burlington Scoop Shop were the ones that took cookie dough and mixed it with ice cream for the first time. And we thought they were absolutely nuts, and they persisted it, and they started selling it, and the line started going to Burlington Scoop Shop, and it ended up being our biggest flavor. So that was two unrelated things, we thought. My heart goes like this whenever I go into the Green Mountain dining hall and I see Guayaki yerba mate in there. Guayaki yerba mate. Yerba mate is a holly that grows in South America, and you can make it into a beverage, either a hot beverage or a cold beverage. And it's grown in the we grow it, shade grown, in the rainforest down there. And we, and this company, are combining land conservation, because we're conserving land as we go down there, with organic, fair trade, and energy drink, which heretofore meant, Red Bull and other caustic substances. And we've combined them to create, something new and a brand that we're proud of, and we're on our way to conserving 200,000 acres of rainforest in Paraguay and Brazil. And I think if we hadn't combined land conservation, this other unrelated subject to energy drink, if we hadn't done that, I don't think we'd be in your dining hall. I'm very thankful that we are and that we're there. But that was another example of combining two previously unrelated things. That company was founded by a group of liberal arts students a few years after they graduated from college. My close friend I met on the first day of school is named, another one, is named Iqbal Qadir. He's from Bangladesh, and he came to the United States to go to liberal arts school. After he graduated, he was in his office in New York City, and this is when cell phones were first starting to come out. And cell phones were just for the wealthy. It was a luxury item. It was Paris Hilton. It was, that's who had cell phones. I used to have like a phone I'd keep in my car just as a joke. It wasn't connected to anything, so people would think I had a cell phone. But he recognized at home in Bangladesh how important a telephone would be for people. In a country where only the oligarchs had landlines, people living in villages would have to take buses, all day long to go somewhere to deliver a message or to check on prices or to tell someone when a crop was coming in. And he recognized that a cell phone was, he wanted to figure out how to make it not a luxury item for these people. And that if you're choosing between a bus ride and a phone call becomes is really a valuable thing. That was one insight. The other thing was he was a student of microfinance, which is a system of banking in which banks provide small loans to ordinary people to buy a cow or a goat or a loom or a plow. And he convinced the microfinance bank to loan one woman in each village enough money to get a cell phone that she would then use as a payphone for her village. And that was a way of spreading the cost of an expensive cell phone over an entire village and making this communication possible. That innovation sparked a lot of investment, and we grew the company, and it's now our little Gonophone, our little company, has grown into Grameen Phone, which is the largest cell phone in Bangladesh, largest cell phone company in Bangladesh, and has really had a major impact, improving the lives for just a lot of people, and has also gone a long way towards maintaining village life because people are much more likely to live there. You gotta be kidding me. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm the mean timekeeper.
Okay, I'll skip. All right, I'll skip ahead. Okay. A more recent one was when we invaded Iraq for the second time. I met someone. I was taking classes at night school, working on my writing. And I met a classmate who had the idea of giving little digital cameras to soldiers going over to Iraq so that they could film their experience. I wanted to do something on the second war in Iraq, it was different than the way it was covered the first time. The first time it was really kind of a CNN-led, gauzy production about the glory of what we were doing. And by combining this sort of sense of history and new technology and also the internet, being able to keep track of the soldiers, and we got incredible footage back, and we were able to take that footage and went to a bunch of cocktail parties at Sundance and ran around and showed the film to people who really knew how to make movies, and ended up making really a movie I'm actually quite proud of. And it was when we were able to share the experiences of those soldiers around the world on the Discovery Channel. Close by saying that I think, with the liberal arts, where you're looking at multiple subjects in kind of different ways and learning how to tackle fresh subjects quickly, when you get out of here, you're going to find that people think of you as a quick study. That you can pick on something quickly and make connections with other things, and that you're going to be quite valuable to businesses. I think many of you have friends at home who are studying things like accounting. People who know what classes they have to take, when they're going to graduate, what their job's going to be, and what their career track is. And they can answer the question that liberal arts students can't answer, which is, what are you going to do when you get out of school? And I'm here to tell you, you're going to figure it out. And it's going to be uncomfortable, and you're going to have to work your way through things. But eventually you're going to piece together something that is really pretty amazing. And I think a lot of you are going to find that your accountant friends are going to come looking for you and the exciting business that you started, and they're going to be asking you for the job. Thanks a lot.